Sonar contact with the enemy sub has been lost.
It's playing it safe, cutting its main engines off and then see... A comrade?
No, a Japanese diesel, sir. It's the Yamanami.
The Yamanami. That damn pest, huh?
Captain, they're right above us.
What?
Range 40, 30, 20.
Dive to 600 meters!
Collision! Collision!
Collision! We hit him! Don't panic! Give me a damage report, now!
Conning tower hatch damage! Taking water, but minimal. Reactor stable.
It sounds like they took the worst of the damage. Where are they?
Starboard going down fast, sir. Depth 500. Looks like the main ballast pumps are damaged and they can't surface. Yamanami's depth rated to 700 meters. 100 meters from being crushed alive. $680 meters. 690 meters. Implosion.
A large, heavy oil slick was sighted. While a joint U.S.-Japan investigation is underway, it appears that due to an accident, the submarine Yamanami imploded at a depth of 700 meters. In short, it was sunk and crushed due to extreme water pressure.
So, are you saying that all hands were lost?
That still hasn't been confirmed.
And the cause?
There are anonymous reports that it struck a Russian nuclear submarine.
That is a possibility, but the Russian government has as yet to issue a public statement.
Chief of Staff, is there any concern over radioactive contamination?
There is no evidence of any contamination. I'm sorry, but for the duration of this investigation, anything more than what I've told you has been classified.
Speed, 12 knots. Heading, 210. Prepare to dock. Berth number 3.
Prepare to dock at berth number 3.
That's all for my report on our training run, sir.
Well done. So, do you have the tape, Captain?
Yes, sir.
The sound of the Russian sub hitting it is on here?
Our hydrophone array was 70 clicks from where it happened, but it was still barely within our analysis range. Maybe Nanba can tell us more about it.
What a shame to have lost such a fine officer.
Do you really believe that, sir? Begging your pardon, but did you personally check into this situation yourself, Admiral?
No.
It was the Americans who recovered the remains of the sub. I can't trust any information that someone else has gotten for us.
Well, I do. Dismissed, Captain. You went to the academy together, didn't you?
Kaeda and I were equally promoted from the same class.
Not quite right. The General Staff decided to give him a special 2-rank promotion.
Oh. Nice reward for losing a boat.
Don't you speak ill of the dead. Kaeda will be remembered as an admiral.
The dead, huh?
This is the Russian sub's propeller and pinger. The Yamanami's engines are stopped. There's the collision.
Huh. It's lighter than I thought it would be.
The Yamanami goes down, and then we have... implosion.
That's a sound you can never get used to.
Let's wind it back.
Huh?
This wave forms the Romanov. This one's the Yamanami. It just stopped its engines. The Yamanami should have seen the collision coming at this point in time.
So Kaeda collided with the Romanov on purpose. Go ahead, try winding it back another 10 minutes.
I don't understand, Captain.
Kaeda is one of the best sub-commanders there is. I don't believe he would die just from tapping that Russian boat.
But they examined the sub's wreckage, sir.
Have you seen the wreckage yourself? What are the only 3 things that a submariner will trust?
His own eyes, his ears, and intuition, sir.
Exactly. And my intuition says that Kaeda's still alive.
This is a full 12 minutes before implosion. It's faint, but here's the Romanov's waveform.
And the Yamanami?
I can't isolate it. I picked it up with digital processing, but this background static is normal surface noise.
What's that?
It's just a humpback whale's cry. She's got a calf, too.
This too?
The same thing. After this, it's just... Hey, wait a second. I'll pull this out of memory. Ten minutes before the implosion, I heard something else.
Can you ID it?
I just don't believe it. It sounds just like a submarine hatch being closed.
A hatch?
Impossible! Underwater?
On the surface. First they surfaced once so that all hands could escape. The now unmanned Yamanami continued on autopilot, and then struck the Romanov. Nanba, is there any way that you can prove that sounds definitely a hatch closing on the surface?
No, not with this toy, sir. Maybe the mainframe at HQ.
The engineering lab at SDF headquarters.
We're betting the farm on this one, Captain Fukumachi.
Just find out the truth, no matter what it takes. Huh?
Freeze! Military police!
Hey, Chief, these guys are serious. What do you think the skipper discovered tonight?
I think something that'll shake up all of Japan, sailor.
You were good enough to score kills on the carrier Carl Vinson during the Rim-Pack maneuvers. I was really proud of how you threw the American brass into such an uproar.
So you were actually going to kill such a fine, loyal officer?
Don't be ridiculous. This is a national defense secret. Unfortunately. Your intuition's correct. Kaeda is alive.
Then tell me, why did he deliberately ram that Russian submarine and sink the Yamanami?
Because Kaeda and his crew have a special assignment.
Special assignment?
Japan's first nuclear submarine.
Japanese?
A super advanced sub secretly developed by the U.S. and Japan, utilizing the cream of Japanese science and technology.
But a nuclear sub for Japan.
That's why it will be officially part of the U.S. Far East Forces. To gain the proper nuclear sub know-how, the crew will be made up entirely of Japanese.
I see. So Kaeda and the Yamanami's crew.
Captain, all hands have evacuated. The autopilot is engaged.
We all have friends and family. However, they must be forever separated from their loved ones. But they are the chosen. This is the price for being Japan's first nuclear submarine crew.
Chosen? This is the leader that they choose? They chose Kaeda to command our first nuclear submarine instead of me? Damn!
Fukamachi!
Sir, even if it was an order, you trust a man who would sink his own boat to command a nuclear sub?
And I suppose you wouldn't for the chance to have one, Captain? Are we clear on this? This is top secret. None of you will be allowed to leave. You'll just have to wait.
Its active radar scanner lets it fly many meters above the surface, and even lock onto long-range targets in even the most brutal weather conditions. The vessel has 8 missile launchers, and with 50 shots, it has double the torpedo load of any other sub in the world. It's an honest-to-God sea monster. This ultra-modern sub combines the best of the U.S. and Japan. And the vessel's code name is the Seabat. She's the pride and joy of the fleet. We're planning a 20-day shakedown cruise, after which it will be handed over. Any questions?
Gentlemen, I have a request. We would like to make the final checks ourselves before the shakedown cruise begins.
That's unnecessary, Captain. The final servicing has been completed.
We haven't made our final inspection.
Don't trust us dumb Americans to check it out, right?
No, but please remember, gentlemen, that if anything goes wrong, it is going to be our asses that will be on the line. Wanting to make a personal inspection is common sense for all submariners.
For 1 month, they trained as part of a U.S. nuclear subcrew. And then, during the 20-day shakedown cruise, the Japanese sailors surprised us with their excellent skill. As commander of the United States Pacific Fleet, I'm here today to offer my deep respect and thanks to the JSDF Commander-in-Chief, Sonozaki, and to Captain Kaeda and his crew of 70 sailors. Captain Kaeda, it's an honor and a pleasure to have the Seabat as a member of my distinguished Pacific Fleet Command.
I am very honored, Admiral Steiger.
This is Captain David Ryan, who will be on board the Seabat as a U.S. Navy representative.
Pleasure, Captain.
May this historic joint venture strengthen the peace between the United States and Japan. Well, here's to the successful maiden voyage of the Seabat. Cheers!
Hey, Captain, that Kaeda's a typical Japanese, isn't he? You can't tell what he's thinking behind that smile, right?
I think he's a very careful man. There were 2 candidates to command the Seabat. There were 2 guys who scored 5 kills on my Carl Vinson during the Rim-Pack maneuvers. Kaeda of the Yamanami and Fukamachi of the Tatsunami. Both are excellent commanders, but their personalities are dead opposite. Fukamachi is reckless. Kaeda's very cautious. They ended up choosing Kaeda because of his cautiousness.
Forgive me, sir. I wanted the farewell party for our first nuclear sub to be a national celebration. Japan well deserves the recognition.
I'm overwhelmed, Commander Sonozaki.
Japan is paid to have it built, to assign it to the 7th Fleet, and then to codename it the Sea-Bat. Well, I tell you, it's absolutely insulting to our entire Navy.
Well, just like a submarine, sir, a bat travels in the darkness using ultrasound. I think it's a very appropriate name.
Captain?
Yes, they've apparently completed the final checks at the dock. Pardon me while I check it over myself.
$9,000-ton displacement, and capable of a maximum depth of 1,000 meters with its titanium alloy hull. An 80,000 HP generator powered by an SAG nuclear reactor, armed with 50 nuclear torpedoes or missiles. Propulsion provided by a 7-blade skewed propeller capable of up to 40 knots with cavitation suppression. Every point on her checks out clear.
Tomorrow, with neither a military band nor family members to wish us well, the world's most omnipotent ship will set out.
Yes, sir!
Yamanaka, I do not consider this ship to be an American vessel.
With nearly unlimited power from nuclear fission, and by extracting oxygen from the water, we could travel 200,000 kilometers without having to surface.
Pretty much an all-around unstoppable boat. But nuclear subs do have their disadvantages.
Disadvantages?
Nuclear generator turbines are noisier than a diesel's.
But compared to the Sea-Bats, a Russian subs are like a subway train. 14 hours out and all is well. So how long to the target point?
At a present speed of 20 knots, our ETA is 0930 hours tomorrow.
Good. We're to rendezvous with the nuclear sub New York at 1000 hours. At 1100, we take a westerly heading and return to Sasebo Base. All according to our schedule.
Aye, aye. Understood then, Captain Ryan.
Captain, the New York isn't the only submarine waiting for us at the target point.
It's swarming with nuclear submarines, sir.
They're all probably interested in getting a clear sound profile on the Yamato.
If they get a profile, it could make things harder.
So perhaps we should change our heading?
No, they're bound to get it sooner or later. And then comes the showdown.
Okay, so it's time.
Propeller noise ahead. Bearing to starboard. Range 4,500.
Good. They're not even a minute off. It's the Sea-Bat. I see. It's a quiet little boat.
Stop all the engines and get a full sound profile.
Give them some active sonar.
Captain, I'm reading several overlapping signal spikes. I'm positive there are more out there with the New York.
Captain, the New York seems to have some very big whales for friends. Number 2 tube, ready a screamer torpedo.
Number 2 tube, ready in a screamer.
A screamer torpedo?
Fire 1.
Wait, stop!
The Seabats just fired something at us, sir. Speed, 40 knots. Range, 1,500 and closing.
A torpedo? Start engines! Evasive action!
Engines to full, dive to 700 meters.
Mutiny! I'm relieving you of command of the Seabat. Mr. Yamanaka, confine Captain Kaeda to his quarters. Yamanaka,
I'm in command here, Captain Ryan. And this nuclear vessel is not the Seabat. It's the Yamato.
All right, got one. It's big. American nuke subclass.
Probably more like a little diesel.
Get lost.
Maybe it's a Japanese nuclear sub.
Sub-hunters?
It's not a training exercise. That's a scramble. Looks like something's just happened.
Gentlemen, today at 10:30 in the vicinity of Ogasawara Island, the Seabat's crew mutinied and deserted.
You deserted? Okay, what's it mean?
Admiral Steiger has ordered that the Seabat be captured and her crew held for a U.S. court-martial. If worse comes to worse, it is to be sunk.
Sunk? What does he mean, sunk?
I see. These are all the heads of the Seabat project. Even the old man they call the Shadow Prime Minister. With them all together, this is a Shadow Defense Assembly.
And so, gentlemen, to save time in letting us get to the bottom of this situation, I shall be totally honest with you. I have no idea what Kaeda is up to.
Is he defecting?
Impossible. Kaeda comes from generations of naval elite. His loyalty and motives are totally beyond question.
Now look, we have to figure out what the government's position is.
Our only option is to keep from getting in too deep on this. Leave it to the Americans.
That's just irresponsible.
The Seabat is a huge investment, $2.3 billion of which is U.S. money. The Americans will demand Steiger's resignation. For us.
This may be the end of the current administration.
And just what are our defense forces for? Mr. Akagaki?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible for our forces to capture the Seabat before the Americans do?
It would be extremely difficult. If we scrambled the entire maritime SDF, then maybe...
Then just do it. Japan has to solve this by itself.
Minister, if we do get the Seabat, what do we do with it then? Will we just turn it over to the Americans?
Not before we have completely studied it. It may be our first nuclear sub, but the drive and the weapons hold a lot of American know-how. To allow us to create a completely Japanese-built nuclear sub, we need to secretly capture the Seabat before the Americans do.
Oil pressure check. Helm control check.
Release probe. Cast off.
Prepare to set sail!
Our target is a new-class nuclear sub, huh? Ordering us to catch it is like telling us to get a humpback whale.
To fire a torpedo and then run. He must be serious.
Kaeda. He wouldn't defect or go insane.
I've got an IR trace. It's reactor coolant water.
It's surfacing! Viking to command! Submarine matching the Seabat has been sighted in the vicinity of Yap Island. Speed, 15 knots and cruising on the surface.
Captain, I'm getting a signal from them.
Good morning, USA. Underway on nuclear power.
The same message that the first nuclear sub, the Nautilus, issued in 1955 as it sailed under the Thames River. Playing copycat, huh, Kaeda?
Yes, I wanted to say it. Since this is Japan's first nuclear sub.
You think it's rational to surface just for that?
That's right. I think it is.
If you're sane, you'll want money next. You're just gonna sell this boat to some terrorist state.
Attention, Seabat, return to base at once. If you disregard this order, you will be fired upon.
Or maybe a plot of the Japanese government. Steal an American nuclear sub for your defense. Ridiculous! What can Japan do out from under America's umbrella?
Our defense treaty, you mean? As much as I believe America would defend Japan, Captain, I am not naive. Captain, do you assume that they won't fire at us as long as you are on board? Don't you hear it? The symphony that makes an ally an enemy.
Huh?
A 350-pound anti-sub bomb.
They're bluffing!
Incoming! Starboard high!
Captain, this has always been the American way.
Gentlemen, you can argue whether a Seabat is a bird or a beast, but the commander of the Pacific Fleet has decided that it's short for Sea Battle. Let's see if they're worthy enemies. We'll give the sub-drivers the first crack at it. I'd like to let the guys who allowed the Seabat to desert to have a chance to redeem themselves. The honor of our fleet is in your hands.
Richard Boyce. That yellow bastard won't make fools of the SS New York for long.
Orders from command! Received!
Okay, reel in the radio buoy!
The United States 7th Fleet is blocking off all of the Pacific routes. The Tatsunami is heading for the Barrington Straits near the Taiwan Strait.
We're chasing our own boat and we still have to wait on the Americans' butts. ETA?
If we hold it 20 knots, 1,500 hours.
10 knots will do. Why waste the batteries? Dive to 100 meters, heading 260, speed 10 knots. I want the crew to get some rest. We'll begin individual sleep rotations.
Don't think we can catch the Seabat, Captain?
Unfortunately, we'd never make it.
The oily-smelling Tatsunami's no match, huh?
Listen, you idiot. Don't you know anything? That oily smell is the proof that this boat is a diesel. So Kaeda has surfaced. But why? He gave his position away and he even said hello to them. How uncharacteristically reckless.
Yeah, sounds more like one of your brilliant moves, Captain.
I don't know what he's really after. but I'll lay odds he's headed north.
We've been holding for 3 hours at 1,000 meters. If he was headed for the Indian Ocean, he wouldn't need to rest here. What are you up to, Kaeda?
Are you a fan of Mozart, Captain? Symphony number 40 in G minor. I love this one. When I hear it, I feel like a fish swimming free in the ocean.
Any sign?
None, sir.
There have been no reports of it in the Indian Ocean. It must still be wandering around here.
Be careful. It could be waiting for us. Engines off and torpedoes ready.
I see. It's so very soothing. It's like floating on the breeze of a Michigan wind. Never thought I'd hear this 1,000 meters under the sea.
Sonar to Captain's quarters. I'm getting propeller noise. Bearing 122, range 5,000. It's a Los Angeles class.
Number?
I figure there are a couple more behind it.
What the hell?
Huh? Captain, I hear a symphony.
A what? That's impossible. Down here?
There's no mistake, sir. It's Mozart.
All right, stop engines and get a fix in that sound. Talk to me.
Bearing 180. Depth 800. It's directly under us, sir.
Unreal. He's giving a Mozart concert directly under us?
Captain, sir, this is Sonar reporting. The New York has closed range and come to a full stop. It's directly above us, depth 500. The other two subs 5 clicks behind it have also stopped.
Very well. All hands, battle stations.
All hands, battle stations.
When I give the order, start to slowly lower the cassette's volume.
Yes, sir!
You know, Kaeda, if you don't shoot first, they will shoot you.
Relax, Captain Ryan. You needn't worry. I won't shoot a torpedo at that idiot sub. Switch over to batteries. Commence a silent blow on the ballast tanks. Rise at 3 meters per second.
Rise at 3 meters per second. Ballast tanks, silent blow.
That's got to be the Seabat, men. Okay, prep torpedo control. Load tubes 1 through 4. Rig with conventional warheads. Flood tubes!
He's flooding tubes! Captain, the New York's preparing to fire torpedoes.
Start lowering the cassette's volume. 1 notch every second.
That band's still playing.
Aye, aye. It stayed at the same level for 5 minutes.
Hasn't he noticed us? Sonar, when I give the word, send out a ping. When that echo comes back, we'll fire the torpedoes.
Aye, sir.
Sorry you're still on that thing, Ryan. But I've got orders to sink her.
Kaeda, turning the music down to make them think you're far away.
All right, give him that ping!
Hold your fire, sir! It's a trick! The Seabat! It's sitting right next to us!
It's what?
Hold this depth.
I see. You close the distance while lowering the music. Now our ships can't fire their torpedoes. Clever.
Damn Seabat. I knew you were much smarter than this. But do you think you can stick to the New York forever?
Captain, awaiting your orders, sir.
How far is the 7th Fleet?
150 kilometers behind and closing.
All right, full speed ahead.
The New York is moving. 20 degrees to starboard, 5 degrees up trim.
All right, full speed ahead and begin to shadow her.
Haha. Just follow me, Seabat. You're invited to a great party.
This is something else. The New York, the Seabat, the Chicago, and the Dallas. Huh, it's like the Macy's parade.
They're much too close together. We can't attack from the air.
This is the captain to all hands. A few dozen kilometers ahead of us, the U.S. 7th Fleet, the mightiest in the world, is gathered, waiting to destroy us. Behind us are the nuclear subs Dallas and Chicago. This vessel is in the most dangerous situation possible. However, if we pull together and manage to get out of this mess alive, the world will have no choice but to recognize us as the sub which cannot be caught. For a submariner, there is no greater glory. To gain that glory, we are about to initiate our escape plan. For talented men like you, it should be no problem. If you all carry out my orders quickly, I can assure you we will come through this without any trouble.
Heads up. Only 3.5 minutes until the rendezvous with the 7th Fleet. 10 degrees up trim. Break away from the Seabat and prepare for a grand entrance.
Captain, wait!
What's wrong?
Drop speed a little. I can't hear the Seabat now. I think they've slowed down.
What? Another torpedo?
They wouldn't. They must know that an explosion would kill them too.
Two propellers in the water. 2 torpedoes, approaching from aft, 45 knots, range, 500.
Let's move!
Sir, evasive.
Full speed ahead! Right full rudder! Up trim to maximum!
No good! Can't shake them! Torpedoes above us!
Range 200, 150, 100, 50. They're gonna hit! Ah!
Captain, we've got luck on our side. Both those fish were duds.
No, they just had their warheads removed. Give me a damage report, then come about and prepare to return fire.
Reactor and engine, online!
Propeller destroyed, maneuvering impossible!
Oh no.
The propeller's gone, sir!
Captain Murdoch.
Dead in the water? Can it possibly be any more humiliating to a captain? Any more than this?
Torpedo Chief, well done. That was perfect targeting. Now come about 180 and make for the Dallas and the Chicago. Ready the masker.
I just lost the Seabat's propeller.
They're probably using a masker to help disguise the noise. All right, try it again.
Got him.
How fast?
40 knots, range 1500 and closing.
After him!
We can use a torpedo.
We're too close. Besides, there's a better way. Come about 180! And I'll nail the little bastard in the rear. To avenge the USS New York, I'll stop you dead, Seabat.
Both enemy subs moving off. Already 10 kilometers away.
They have no idea that it's a decoy. You did it, Captain.
A decoy torpedo with a propeller tuned to sound like the Seabats.
How far away is the 7th Fleet?
The carrier Carl Vinson is 35 kilometers ahead of us. It's surrounded by vessels in a 10-click radius.
Okay, here we go. If we get through this, we should have a very nice sunset.
Aye, sir.
22 knots, 15 degrees up trim to periscope depth.
What? You mean you're gonna surface?
Such confidence. Looks like America's reputation as the world's policeman is still going strong.
Not even a little nervous, Qaeda? They'll make you pay for attacking the New York. You better surrender now.
Surrender?
Exactly. The weaponry on this vessel couldn't possibly stop the Carl Vinson.
Oh, Captain. You still believe that in this day and age?
Huh?
Soon we are about to see if the American confidence is real or for show.
That damn crazy bat.
Captain, is he going to drive right into the middle of the fleet?
Maybe he's a kamikaze.
Maybe if we give him a little extra encouragement, he'll decide to surrender instead and end this game. All right, Adjutant, give the order.
Aye, aye! California! Alabama! Commence fire!
We're in range. Now send the 7th Fleet our message.
earth can those warheads be non-conventional? Can't be.
Nuclear torpedoes.
No way, it's a bluff.
But Captain, if there's any chance it's true...
They could single-handedly wipe out the entire 7th Fleet in an instant.
And what if we do give in to all their insane demands? I won't disgrace my Navy and my honor for the sake of one damn submarine!
Carl Vinson's speed and heading are unchanged.
Qaeda, command sees through it that your trump card's a bluff. You have no nuclear torpedoes.
Oh, Captain, have you already forgotten about the final check that we made before we left Sasiba?
Huh?
Yamanaka, take over.
You switched the torpedoes then? No, you couldn't possibly have had enough time.
Can you be 100% certain?
What?
You know, all I'd really need is just one torpedo.
Okay, suppose you have a nuke. There's no way you could fire it. You couldn't, not with the entire world watching you.
You're right. Even if I had one, I couldn't use it. But the power of a nuclear weapon is in the possibility of using it.
I tell you, the Seabat has no nuclear weapons.
Again, sir, did you arm the Seabat with nuclear weapons without informing the Pacific Fleet?
We made no such plans, but the Japanese had a chance to load them without our knowledge.
Are you suggesting Japan has developed nuclear weapons?
Qaeda's message certainly does suggest it's possible.
You know Japan's a nuclear-free zone.
Spare me the PR! Does a Seabat have nukes or not?
Carl Vinson's heading and speed are still unchanged. Collision in 2 minutes.
Steady as she goes.
Qaeda.
What?
Do you really think this plan will work without a nuke? What are you doing?
Seeing for sure just how much America trusts Japan. If America really trusts the Japanese government, for example, if they believe that we have no nuclear weapons aboard, then the Carl Vinson will be able to ram right into the Yamato. But if the Vinson should stop...
If it stops...
Then America is suspicious that Japan has nuclear weapons. Understand?
From HQ, sir. Huh?
Captain!
All stop! 20 degrees to port!
The Carl Vinson's turning!
Full rudder to starboard.
Okay, Captain, we've got a line to the Seabat.
Seabat, this is Richard Boyce, commander of the 7th Fleet.
An honor, Captain Boyce. This is Captain Shiro Kaeda.
You are a renegade ship. Stand down and leave that vessel immediately. Will you comply?
No, I have a statement to make.
You think you have any right to?
In this situation, Commander, I think you have no choice. With the end of the Cold War, the United States of America seems to have grown used to the role of the world policeman. But with the threat of a single nuclear weapon, we've created this standoff. The possibility of even a single nuclear weapon has rendered America helpless. Do you understand? Times haven't changed at all. I've turned this 5-kilometer radius chunk of ocean into a microcosm of the world to prove this. The 7th Fleet's actions have caught the world's attention. Even though the Cold War is over, I'm sure people are as aware of nuclear weapons as ever. Of course, because the world works this way, this vessel was built to be the most powerful sub in the world.
Exactly.
The Seabat is an American nuclear sub.
We recognize that it was born of both America and Japan. But we are definitely not a renegade vessel. And we are no longer a part of the 7th Fleet.
Then what the hell are you?
We are now the independent nation of Yamato. This is our Declaration of Independence. In accordance with international law, we claim a 12-mile territorial boundary. If it is violated, we claim the right to attack the invader. Do you understand, Captain Boyce? America is violating our territorial waters. So long as we recognize America as a hostile nation, we have a natural right to attack. You, on the other hand, have none.
Is that really you, Kaeda? Can't you see it's madness to declare a submarine an independent nation? Any opinions, Mr. Amatsu?
Gentlemen, I believe that Mr. Kaeda is quite sane. I think we've no choice but to accept the reality that this very sane man has declared his independence from both the United States and Japan.
And accept that people will know now that this government hid the sub's construction from its citizens?
The Seabat, no, the Yamato, is a reality that can no longer be hidden.
Propeller noise from the northeast! It's a JSDF diesel!
Captain, you know this is insane. You're driving straight into the 7th Fleet.
Quiet. Bow down 10 degrees. Dived 50 meters.
It's headed directly for us!
Because of the threat of nuclear torpedoes, headquarters ordered the Carl Vincent to a full stop. But I have the right to handle this at my own discretion. Don't underestimate me, Kaeda.
I figured that Fukumachi would take the shortest course. Down periscope. Make preparations to greet them.
Attention, Tatsunami. Leave the area at once. Repeat, leave the area at once.
Forget him! Go! Get out of here!
Looks like Japan's going to negotiate with the Seabat.
Or they just might be plotting a last-minute escape.
You're right.
We'll give them 5 minutes.
Welcome to my little country, Captain Fukumachi.
Your country, huh? Well, I hope you don't plan on keeping your cramped country for very long. I'm taking this boat!
I'll have to admit that we are the smallest nation in the world. But how exactly do you intend to seize this country?
Drop the act. Just stick close to the Tatsunami and maybe we'll get out of here. Listen to me. They can't attack you if you're under escort. Now, while we've still got the security treaty with America. You gonna do it or not?
Fukumachi, we have a sworn duty. A duty as a military nation not bound by a superpower.
A nation, huh? What do you mean, a nation? What'll you do for supplies?
Of course, we expect to be helped by our allies, and in return, we will provide them with any protection that they may need.
Damn you! You have a wife, a child, your mother in Kamakura! Are you just going to abandon them? Abandon Japan? Well, are you?
We're not abandoning anyone.
Huh?
We're going to make the world one nation.
Huh?
Fukamachi, I plan to establish a peace treaty with the Japanese government.
What? You intend to sign a treaty with Japan?
You could breach their reactor with one shot! Please, sir, hold your fire!
Move it!
Hey, Captain, did you get a look at it? Their hull's titanium alloy with echo suppression tiles. Even active sonar would have trouble detecting it. It has 8 forward torpedo bays. It could do 40 knots and dive down to 1,000 meters. There's no way we could catch it.
Whoa. That really is the world's greatest attack submarine.
Yamanaka, crash dive!
Forget the launch! Seal the hatch! Now crash dive!
The Seabat's submerging! It's headed under us!
If the Tatsunami takes the same course, they're in on this! Ahead full! All ships, open fire!
Depth charges above us!
Up to 50 meters!
Captain, sir!
Their charges are probably set to at least 100 meters or more to protect their own ships. Up now!
The Tatsunami's doing a high-speed rise.
That's just what I'd do.
Captain, the Tatsunami's right on top of us.
Hold depth.
Depth charge 30 meters above!
Huh? Full left rudder!
Full right rudder, now!
If they nail the Tatsunami above us, then there's just no way that...
Fukamachi's turning.
I bet that one got him.
A fitting punishment for them, I think.
Get this flooding stopped now! Damage control, move it! Firing a damned arsenal when we didn't even fire one shot! Doesn't sinking an SDF ship mean anything to them? If you've broken the treaty, then I should have every right to fire back at you, shouldn't I? But even after I get hit by your badly aimed torpedoes, I'm not supposed to complain about it!
You secretly built a nuclear submarine and then crewed it with Japanese citizens? That's a severe violation of the Constitution.
Article 3 allows for the joint development of weapons with the U.S. Department of Defense.
And under civilian control. You know that perfectly well.
Under the international laws, the Yamato is part of America. However, without formal government recognition, the only way we can proceed is
And
for our
debate
citizens to
rages on in the
respond with a
Diet about the
positive
Yamato
outlook
question.
on the situation at hand.
If the public isn't behind the Yamato, then let's call it a new opportunity for Japan. Public opinion will shift in our favor.
What about Prime Minister Takagami?
He has zero international support, and since he's liberal, this must be tough for him. Opposition's called a no-confidence vote. If we're going to survive this,
We're going to have to put a positive spin on the Yamato.
You know, I never thought I'd hear the Chief Secretary say that.
you handle foreign affairs, and I'll persuade the Prime Minister.
An emergency security conference meeting.
I'm going to move that we recognize the Yamato.
Fool! You cannot fulfill your role as Chief Secretary if you let yourself be tricked by Kaeda's words. We'll use the Yamato to our advantage, and then build the Americans for the trouble.
And show the U.S. how weak we are?
We're to build up our military strength under America's umbrella. That's the National 100-Year Plan.
Wasn't the Yamato constructed under that sort of old thinking? Maybe it's time you left the stage, Father.
What did you say? You think you can do this on your own? I won't let you manipulate Japan for your own plans! I think you're going to miss that meeting.
Keep my father company, won't you?
The Yamato has clearly shown us America's intentions. It has shown the world how it would trample the security treaty, and how they would just as soon attack Japan rather than defend it.
Amatsu, would you please control your personal opinions?
Minister, this is now common talk among all of our shocked citizens.
Before this, Japan would abandon the Yamato without hesitation. But now that we know America's true face, our citizens won't stand for it. We must commit the SDF to defending the Yamato.
We just inflame international opinion against us.
Once we deploy the SDF, there's no going back.
Isn't that exactly what you wanted?
Amatsu, you bureaucrats, step down!
Then what do you suggest we do? Our citizens won't stand for our old positions anymore. Mr. Prime Minister, you've said that we should reconsider the security treaty. Time to make your decision.
Gentlemen, my thoughts on that are drastically different from yours. We can't let ourselves get carried away in this situation. And indulging the Defense Ministry is something I'd expect from nationalists like your father. To me, it isn't new thinking or old thinking. It's all the same.
After you already approved use of the SDF, do you really think that attitude will get us through this crisis?
No, I don't. But I have to draw the line somewhere. Creating a project to build a nuclear sub without the knowledge of the Prime Minister is a national offense. I expect resignations from the Defense Minister and all others connected to this project. However, the consequences of the Yamato are a different matter. I must recognize what it has proven about U.S.-Japan foreign relations. I therefore authorize the MSDF to move out and defend it. The real problem is the Americans.
The Japanese government's close to collapse. It's a matter of time before they try to pin the blame on us. What if we called an immediate summit meeting? That might work.
The Japanese tend to favor sneak attacks when cornered.
Of course, the summit is part of the projected program, Mr. President.
Get it okayed. But hold it somewhere that inspires American patriotism. Pearl Harbor, maybe. What do you think of that?
Excellent idea, sir.
And what about that tougher program, if Japan balks?
That's in the red file, sir.
Yeah, this should stir them up.
The definition of defensive support?
You'd be surprised how few people can say it clearly.
Defensive support is a battle that begins with aggressive action by an enemy.
Good. But how do you recognize an enemy's aggression?
That's a tricky one, sir. Because when you recognize aggression, you are already in a potentially fatal situation.
Does my heart good to see the MSDF scramble. Don't you guys think so?
Yeah, we'll show them. You bet.
Well, maybe now the public will change its opinion about us.
Yeah! Gentlemen, don't forget we're here for defensive support only.
Sir!
Easier said than done.
This is the Japanese government's position. Tensions in the Pacific are rising. Easing pressure by holding back the Third Fleet from attacking the Yamato is absolutely vital. If you don't take our advice, the Japanese government is prepared to take action and re-examine U.S.-Japan relations.
The Seabat, which both of us built with the understanding that it would be part of the 7th Fleet, unilaterally broke that trust. The United States incurred a tremendous loss as a result of this action.
Japan has incurred similar losses.
In a military action which violated our security treaty. You gave us no prior warning about it.
Oh, you're going to wave the treaty around. Then what about the 7th Fleet's actions? What about the casualties suffered by our submarine?
An unavoidable accident caused by reckless Japanese actions.
An accident?
Sir, it looks like the Hawaiian summit started.
So how far do you think Japan will go?
The summit is stretched between young nationalists and optimists who have never known war.
The talks are probably breaking down. If they're not careful, this could turn ugly.
America has never been a country that is known for compromise, Yamanaka.
You're right. American righteousness has meant never having to surrender.
Captain, we're almost to the scheduled area.
No doubt about it. It looks like the Japanese escort fleet approaching.
What are those paper tigers doing here?
Looking for the Seabat, I'd say, Captain.
Here to help kill the boredom, huh? Well, then, I say we should thank them.
Captain, it's a Morse code signal.
Read it, then.
We, the 2nd Escort Fleet, stand ready to see you to Japan.
The SDF is escorting us?
Japan is on our side!
There's more. Situation extremely delicate. Can only promise defensive support.
Defensive support? Laying your cards on the table, Numata?
The 3rd Fleet is closing rapidly. If your calculations are right, we're already in the Yamato's arrival sector. I think the 3rd Fleet had the same idea, Captain.
Attention all ships. Block the 3rd Fleet.
The Vincennes is closing rapidly.
Is he really gonna try and block us?
Speed, 30 knots. On a collision course. Captain, give the order to turn away.
In any case, the Seabat is the U.S. Navy's problem. We demand you recall your escort fleet immediately.
You're going to attack the Yamato? Attack the Seabat?
The 3rd Fleet, no matter what resistance it encounters, will dispose of the Seabat by 1600 hours our time.
What are you saying? Are you trying to force it to use its nukes?
I'd like to ask Prime Minister Takagami about that. May we conclude, then, that your government now admits to arming the submarine Seabat with nuclear weapons?
No, that's not true at all.
You've been making noise about re-examining the U.S.-Japan security treaty for a while now. Wasn't that just a setup to justify a Japanese nuclear weapons program?
That's outrageous!
Captain, heave to!
No. If we stop and let him hit us dead on, we'll go down.
But, sir!
Turn the ship parallel, and then we can force him off.
Brace for more! That's a 9,600-tonner!
You hear it?
It's very faint, but we're sure that it's the Seabat's propeller. It's definitely shadowing behind the escort fleet, Admiral Lansing.
All right. Recall the Vincennes.
The Vincennes is backing off.
They may be preparing for a close-range attack. Stay alert!
Open fire!
They're firing! Anti-sub missiles approaching the Yamato!
Splash them! Every one of them!
Torpedoes approaching! 2 of them!
This torpedo attack is a clear act of aggression on our nation. Engine stop. Number 1 tube decoy. Fire 1.
The Yamato, sir?
It's a decoy explosion. I hope.
The Kurama's been hit! Underside damaged! Many wounded!
Captain, they're aiming for the Yamato, but we're taking the damage. If we don't do something...
Defensive support, remember?
It's a signal from the Enterprise. If you do not pull away from the Yamato in 5 minutes, we will fire anti-ship missiles at you. This is not a bluff.
Signal that we've no intention of returning fire. Kaida, you said a defensive action was a battle which begins with an enemy's aggression. You were right. But in reality, Japan's situation demands that it never recognize that aggression.
The Third Fleet has apparently begun engaging the Seabat. However, the MSDF escort fleet there is interfering with them.
Amatsu!
Sir, I'll confirm it.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Takagami. The honeymoon our nations have shared in the Pacific is over. As long as the Seabat exists and the SDF escort fleet remains, we cannot step down these hostilities. I must declare that the U.S. and Japan are in a state of war.
Mr. President, wait! I won't recall the escort fleet, but we will not engage the United States in a war.
Do you think by saying that it will keep us from attacking?
Prime Minister, are you just leaving the fleet under fire? If you order that, they won't be able to hold out.
Mr. President, Japan cannot afford another war. You must realize, our fleet is there to protect human lives. Now please, call off this attack. Order them to cease fire.
That's right. We're not to engage. Those are the Prime Minister's orders.
Any word from the President?
None at all. This is entirely our decision to call, Admiral.
All right, then. Remove the Seabat's escort. Fire anti-ship missiles!
Harpoon missiles approaching, sir, from 8 o'clock!
Ship number 8, Kurama, struck by anti-ship missile!
Sir, we must return fire.
Get a damage report on the double. All ships may defend with maximum firepower.
Asagiri engine room, missile strike!
Sir, we are coming into their cannon range. We'll just be a big target for them.
We must protect the Kurama. Full right rudder.
Sir, return fire.
We can't.
But if we don't...
10 missiles! Incoming!
Never mind the missiles. If we enter cannon range, we can't protect ourselves.
Defensive support means giving up the right to shoot back.
The escort ship isn't moving.
They have the guns, but won't use them. A fine country. We have to ally ourselves with them.
Captain, at this rate, they'll be destroyed.
At this moment, that is their chosen course. All we can do is respectfully accept their choice. Open tube number 2!
Can you spot the Seabat?
They're still under the escort ship, can confirm.
Okay, let's take care of that fleet. We're gonna give them some cannon. Pull out!
Oh, roger that.
Harpoons!
Numata. The autonomous nation of Yamato recognizes this aggression. This will be a defensive support action.
Incoming harpoon!
DG-2, defensive fire! Could it be a nuke?
Fire!
We got it! All torpedoes, fire!
Sir, that's aluminum chaff.
Radar's been blinded! Total loss of fire control!
Damn! When can we get it back?
In 10 minutes!
Son of a...
Torpedoes to port!
Run! Go, 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 go! Fire in the hangar deck!
Fire in the engine room!
The Enterprise has been hit, sir. At least 4 shots.
They aim 2 each for the hangar and the engine room. It's going down. An indestructible carrier, the symbol of the Pacific Fleet's rule, is going down.
The Long Beach!
Morse code from the Haruna. We're staying to save lives. Proceed by the fastest route to Japan. Safe voyage to you.
Max subsurface speed, depth 300.
The Enterprise is going down. The Long Beach is burning. Remaining vessels providing assistance. Seabat is escaping.
Sir, it's a total rout.
We never should have sent an aging carrier in the first place. The thing that's sure to win is one of our latest Aegis cruisers. All right, Yamato. You'll see your victory is short-lived.
Gentlemen, America will never accept a loss of this caliber.
The treaty's broken. If America withdraws, Russia may start giving us trouble in the Sea of Japan. We have no choice but to form an alliance with the new nation of Yamato.
But if we do, Japan will be isolated.
Sir, what exactly do you want Japan to do? The way we have acted up until now is what drove the Yamato to declare its independence.
We can't erase our history. If we ally with the Yamato, the world will accuse us of returning to militarism.
Then you're saying we should continue with these policies of indecisiveness. The Yamato is headed for Japan as we speak!
Well, have you located the Seabat's torpedo launch point?
Aye, sir. According to the DAG Squadron's data analysis, it's to the northeast.
At 10 to 15 knots and headed straight for Japan. We ought to see it here in a couple of minutes.
The Third Fleet is taking a much more scattered formation than we expected as they search for us. We're very lucky we escaped from the center of them, Captain. We're almost clear.
No, there is still one danger left. The most advanced sub-hunter in their fleet.
Sound match.
The Seabat?
It has to be, sir. It's damn quiet, though. If we were moving, we'd have missed them.
Heading?
North-northeast.
Excellent. 2,000 meters ahead is a subsea volcano range. Even if that monster can dive to 1,000 meters, The ocean floor isn't that deep.
Sir, we can torpedo them at will.
Okay. Input data into the forward Mark 41 BLS ASROC.
Aye. ASROC target programming complete.
Drive him into the burning seafloor. Fire!
Launch detected! Aft! Surface!
Now give him a ping.
3 enemy ships, all moving line abreast. Torpedoes in the water!
Full speed ahead. Scan the seafloor. Take us down as close as possible.
You can't escape. The explosive power's double a normal load.
Reading a subsea volcano ahead. Range 800. Torpedoes behind us. Range 600.
To the seafloor at 20 knots. Flood all tanks. Bow down 7 degrees. Reverse propeller. Stir up the seafloor.
All shots have detonated. We've sunk it, sir.
Captain, no sub could survive a barrage like that.
Unless they use their propeller to stir up the seafloor to spook the torpedo sensors. Swallow 2, report.
No wreckage sighted. We've still got a lot of noise in the explosion area. I think we stirred up a ton of sand from the sea floor.
Sonar, any problems?
None. But with the sand still masking us, it's hard to hear, sir.
The stern's completely flooded, sir, and the reactor's in trouble.
Switch over to battery power. Check the torpedo tubes for usability.
Captain, if we don't escape now, we may never surface.
If we surface, we're easy torpedo targets. Don't worry, Yamanaka. The sand will protect us.
But...
Torpedo tubes operational!
Captain, more torpedoes! 20 degrees to starboard. Number 8. Range 3,000.
Torpedo chief, prepare to fire. Load tubes 1 through 8. Ready, numbers 1 through 4. Fire! Five through 8. Fire! Start engines when you hear the first explosions. When we stir up the sand again, begin to take us up. Engineering, blow all tanks. Propeller on.
An explosion. Sir, that had to have gotten them.
Enemy torpedoes?
Unable to hear due to masking.
This is Swallow. Torpedoes closing on the Lake Erie.
Lake Erie hit. Cape St. John also hit.
Why didn't any of our ultra sensors pick them up?
Because they didn't use active homing. They predicted our movements and input the data.
Captain, we made it!
Head for the enemy ship. It's tough, but if we beat it, we take the fight out of the Third Fleet. Torpedo chief, confirm remaining shots.
4 remaining!
Give them 1 ping. Once you confirm their position, fire the ASROCs.
Aye, aye. Directly under us, and rising!
Directly under us?
At 250, sir. Depth 200.
What, are they gonna drive right into us now?
Prep ASROCs. Target directly below us.
What?
They'll drop vertically and strike the Seabat. Once we fire them, we'll reverse at full throttle and escape.
All hands, reverse the angle. Up trim 90 degrees.
The reading seems to have gotten a lot smaller, sir.
They're moving off?
No, it's at the same range. Up trim 90 degrees. They're preparing to fire their torpedoes.
No, it's not possible. They know they'll kill themselves if they fire torpedoes at this range.
Exactly. Fire Azrock. Set them to blow at 200. Move it! Engines full. Hard to port.
Fire 1 and 2! Flood all tanks! Reverse propeller!
Torpedoes!
Torpedoes?
They're disarmed! No explosions!
This is the engine room! Propeller shafts destroyed! Thrust 0!
You mean we can't move?
The Azrocks are coming down! We have to get out of here, sir!
Shoot anything that looks like it'll come down and hit us. Let any that might get them fall into the water.
But...
Sir, the next 2 shots will take us up to 48.
The Americans have been counting down very carefully how many torpedoes we fired. If we use the rest, America will conclude one thing. We have no conventional torpedoes, that the rest are nuclear warheads. I have been waiting for this moment, Yamanaka.
Depth 450!
Prepare to fire, and cripple their ability to fight back!
Fish in the water, 70 degrees to starboard!
Fish in the water, 20 degrees to port!
All right! Send the damn Seabat to hell!
But, sir, the Azrocks is set to blow at 200 meters!
Seabat has fired torpedoes!
What?
Torpedoes! Disarm torpedoes!
Engine room flooding!
All hands evacuate!
An ageless cruiser with the world's best data system, utterly defeated. No matter what the world's navies send against it, is the Yamato impossible to sink?
Captain! Evacuate, Captain!
The Yamato fired disarmed torpedoes because they knew we were counting how many conventional ones they'd used. Is that their admission that the rest are nuclear? Our mighty Pacific Fleet, shattered by one nuclear sub. The panic that fact will cause in the world is incalculable. The Seabat, as the autonomous nation of Yamato, is headed for Tokyo on schedule. What Captain Kaida's demands will be, and how the Japanese government will react, is beyond anyone's guess. But if we show fear, U.S. credibility will be destroyed, and more will copy what the Seabat has done. Oh, that's even more terrifying. But we still have an ace. Enough nukes to kill them 10,000 times over. Make no mistake, we are still very much the rulers of the world.
My fellow citizens, as your Prime Minister, I have a most vital announcement to make. I have just come to an important decision in an emergency security conference. What you are about to hear may shock a great many of you. Now please, listen to it calmly. As you all may know, the nuclear submarine, Yamato, is en route to Japan to form an alliance with us. I intend to accept them openly. The main reason for this is that they may be armed with nuclear weapons, and we fear any attack on them may provoke a nuclear response. What Japan's role will be from now on is unclear, but one thing is certain. We must do all that we can to ensure that the new nation of Yamato is not our enemy.
Yamato. Kaeda! Kaeda! How far will you take this? To Japan? To America? To the entire world? How far will you go?